Chant A Psalm A Day. I'm just waking up. I have a wake up voice. It's a wake up voice. It's a it's a groggy wake up voice. So greetings and welcome to Chant A Psalm A Day. It's Sunday. Oh my gosh. It's Sunday already. It is Sunday already, everybody. And I don't have my hot tea. I gotta go put some hot water on the inside the thingy so I can get some tea. But we're gonna get started right away here with our psalm. So let's get into it. So today's psalm is 25. It's titled Teach. The word teach is the first word in the title. Teach. Teach I the paths of righteousness. Righteous paths, right? Teach I righteous paths. So this is our psalm today. Teach I righteous paths. So we want to know, we want to live, and we want to grow in righteousness and goodness and mercy and love and kindness and all of the attributes that we know is of the Most High. Right? Yes. So this is our psalm today, 25. Yesterday was my son's birthday. It was my birthing day, and it was his birthday. And he would have been 34 years old yesterday. I have a 34-year-old son. And some people say, I look like I'm 36. I'm not. Okay. But anyway, I am celebrating his birthday, and I have a book that I wanted to share. Do I have it with me? Let me see. I wanted to share an excerpt of yesterday for story time with Dr. Sewer. And I didn't get to do it. I didn't get to do it, and I don't even have it with me. I left it in my, see, I'm moving from house to home, and I don't have it with me. Well, okay now. It's okay. I'll do an excerpt. I left it at my office. I'm not in my office. I'm actually in a suite. So if you go into my videos, you'll see where I'm at. Okay. But I wanted to read an excerpt of my book yesterday for my son's birthday day. And I missed that. I also missed the film screening at the Bajo El Sol Gallery. I missed that. So yesterday was a hard day for me. My son, as I said, would have been 34. It was the hardest day for me, but it was good being with a good friend that could give you that support, in an unconditional way, no strings attached, just being a friend. So I'm so glad for that, and I'm happy that I could be here today. Nikhil Rocks, hi. Thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A Day. Well, the psalm today is 25, Psalm 25. And Psalm 25 is titled, Teach Me the Paths of Righteousness. Thank you for liking this video. You gotta blow a kiss to you. Thanks so much for liking this video, really. So this is Chant A Psalm A Day. This is Chant A Psalm A Day, and we are here every day. I try to be here every day to liberate the word, to start the day off with a positive word. So the verse that starts off the Psalm 25, verse 1, it speaks of lifting up your life to what is righteous. Lift up your life to what is righteous. So I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is right. I also want to spread some warm joy to my friends in Kansas City, Missouri. Shout out to my friend Connie in Kansas City, Missouri. They are under a snow watch. So I want to shout out to everyone out there who is impacted by the winter storm. I'm not really impacted by it yet because I am in the beautiful island. Yes, I'm in the beautiful island. So I am not going to be impacted by that until the end of this month. Ooh, yes. So let's get started with the psalm. The psalm today is 25, and it starts off with to righteousness. So who are you going to lift your life up to? You're going to lift your life up to who? We're going to lift our life up to righteousness, to goodness, to mercy, to love. And that is what we trust. We're not going to be put to shame when we do that, because righteousness is good and it's kind and it's merciful, and it's good to lift your life up to that. You will not be put to shame in no way, no how. Your enemies are not going to exalt over you because you are putting your trust in righteousness first. That's the first go-to. So Psalm 25 really is about learning. You know, even though it says teach, it's about learning. So in verse 3, so verse 1, 2, and 3 is a chunk on its own. It's like, indeed, none that wait for righteousness will be put to shame. Ones will be ashamed who are wantonly treacherous. Okay, that's who is going to be put to shame. Not those who wait for goodness. Okay, wait for mercy, wait for love, wait for kindness. That is going to keep you in a good place. So verse 4 now, make I and I to know the ways of what is righteous, because we have a very sneaky you-know-who comes in pretending to be all this goodness and light, when in fact it's nothing there. It's an empty shell. So it looks like good on the outside, but the inside there's nothing there. So when we kind of find ourselves in, this waiting period, we have to really remember that we're in a waiting period, and the waiting period is going to bring us, fruits, our fruits. So in verse 4, make I to know the ways that are good. Like I want to know those ways, right? So that I can stare on those paths. And teaching the paths of what is good, like teaching the righteous ways is good. And in verse 5, it's not only make you to know these righteous ways, but lead you in these ways, leading in the truth and teaching of that truth. And for righteousness is ultimately the future. That's your future. So what do you wait on all day long? You're waiting for righteousness and goodness to appear. While you're waiting, you are exemplifying that is good. You are staying in the space of goodness and kindness. So you're in that space. And you're waiting and doing the works of righteousness in that way. So verse 6, the end of verse 5 is like, look, I'm waiting all day long. This is what I'm going to do, right? In verse 6 now, it speaks of remembering the mercy of this righteousness that's steadfast. Yesterday's psalm, it talked about steadfast love, right? How that love does not stop. It's like a heartbeat, right? And even though the heartbeat stops and the person is not alive, that love and that steadfast love is still there, carrying them through their journey into the ancestral plane. Okay? So remembering this mercy and this steadfast love, because they have been from such time ago. The mercy and steadfast love of righteousness has been of a time before now, and it's still happening, right? The goodness and mercy is still present. So in verse 7, remember, we're not going to remember the sins of your youth or your transgressions. As a child, you spoke as a child and you moved as a child and you made errors as a child, right? Now that you know better, you do better, and you have taken on the solid food. No more milk, right? You're on the solid food. So according to the steadfast love, you're going to be remembered according to that. That's steadfast love. So in other words, let's get on the steadfast love train, because that's how you're going to be remembered, right? And the sake of goodness that's belongs to the Most High righteousness is why it's all the reason, So we get into all this religiosity of God and Lord and Jesus and all these ritualistic, things that people do. And it's fine. However, what is underneath all of it? That's the big iceberg, right? And underneath is actually what is the meaning? What is the real meaning? It's kindness and love. Someone told me they went into church and the people are so mean and they're so judgmental and they're so Why is that the case? Because we've gotten into this idea that we are better than somebody else. And I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. We are all unique in our qualities of what we have to offer. So we cannot be caught up into this religiosity of church and the establishment of denominations of churches that are so divisive, instead of all of us getting together in this oneness and one love, right? We don't do that. So it's like, what happened? I got my hot tea. What is happening? Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is the sweetest. My son usually gets my hot tea. Now my good best friend is getting me my hot tea. Oh. So we see the action of what I was talking about now happening, right? I have my hot tea. I have even a lemon on the side, and my honey. So these are actions that, I just mentioned. I'm waiting on the goodness. And look at that, I'm waiting. And when you wait in a humbleness, you wait in an integrity, you wait in a kindness. You ever heard of long suffering? And I was going to get up and get my own tea. And look, my friend just brought me my hot tea. That is the best love ever. So we talk about this in the Psalm, about this steadfast love, and I see it happening here, right now, before my eyes. So I'm thankful. And the goodness that you give, you will receive. That's just the way of nature. So my friend just brought me this wonderful cup of tea, and guess what? The bless is flowing through. Because when you give thanks, guess what's coming after that? So I'm giving thanks. Thank you, thank you. So I love that we have this steadfast love, because I see it in action around me. This is what I've always wanted in my life. So I'm thankful for that. And in verse 8, we see good and upright is righteousness, right? Righteousness is good and is upright. It's embodied in what we call God, Lord, and Jesus, right? It's just nestled up in there. So good and righteous is the Most High, because the instruction of righteousness gives guidance to people that's sinning in the way. Okay? Sinning can be anything from you're being mean to someone. Okay? So in verse 9, we see, oh, thank you so much. We see the one that leads the humble in what is right and teaches the humble the righteous way. Right? This is what the Most High is about. Teaching about the goodness and mercy that comes from that one. So that humble is a word in the psalm today. Steadfast love is another one. Salvation, that's the future, is another one. So in verse 10, all the paths of righteousness are steadfast, love, and faithfulness. So it's any path that you take, we all on different paths, but that path is a path of righteousness. How we get there is different, right? That's what makes us so amazing, because we're so different. Hi, Siddhartha Dodla. I will speak a good word on your behalf. I'm not going to pray for you. I don't like to use that word pray, because it also has the vibrational sound of another word that's defined as a victim of a predator. So I don't want to pray for you. I will talk to the Most High on your behalf, as I'm doing right now. And that Most High is righteousness, is goodness, is mercy, it's love, and it's kindness. So all of that, I'm asking to come and shower Siddhartha Dodla with the kindness and mercy that comes from that. Okay? So in verse 11, we see, the end of verse 10, all the paths of righteousness are steadfast and faithful, right? And it's that way for those who keep this agreement. People say, oh, God is going to be there for me. What are you doing? How are you showing up for righteousness, right? How are you showing up for goodness? How are you showing up to represent all that is of the Most High that you call on, right? So those that keep this agreement is going to end up on a good path when you keep that agreement. It's a covenant that you're keeping. So in verse 11 and 12, we see this namesake, and the namesake of righteousness is goodness, it's mercy, it's all of these names that represent that, right? And it's in verse 11, it's like pardon any guilt because it's great. Okay? And this is what I'm going through. My son passed away. As a mother losing a child, you are going to feel guilty. You're going to feel responsible because you are the parent. So in Psalm 25, verse 11, it's telling me, for the name's sake of righteousness, my guilt is pardoned because it's great. I have such a great guilt of losing my son. Okay? So in verse 12 now is speaking of who is the one that fears the Most High? Who is the one that fears that goodness and is afraid to do wrong because that goodness is powerful? Who is that one that is afraid of that? Afraid of doing the wrong thing? That one is going to be instructed in the way that should be chosen. Okay? Once you are afraid of doing the wrong thing, once you're afraid of lying to someone and betraying someone and being dishonest and stealing and killing, once you're afraid of doing those things, you're going to be instructed in the righteous way that you should choose, according to verse 12. Verse 13 now follows it up with the life. The life. Your life, life is going to abide in well-being, meaning we're going to live in a good wellness, right? And our offspring is going to inherit the land, meaning that our children are going to inherit what is the land. Okay. And in verse 14, I love this verse. The friendship of the Most High is for those that fear the Most High. And the Most High makes known to these ones the covenant that's mentioned in verse 10 about keeping the covenant. And this covenant is an agreement, right? And once you are once you are friends, I always speak about this. Sex before marriage is not good. It mashes up a relationship, because when it doesn't happen, then it's like, what's going on? And it gets confusing. But when you put friendship first, guess what? You're going to have longevity in a relationship, because the friendship is what is the foundation, according to verse 14. The friendship of righteousness, when you are friends with something that's good, and when you are friends with the kindness and mercy of what righteousness is, you have already made a commitment, and now you are in that space where you are not going to be doing the wrong thing. You're going to speak the truth and stand up for what's right, no matter what. And you're going to make known to other people this covenant that you have agreed upon to do good. Surah Dokhna, do good. That's it. Give thanks, and you will be receiving the bless from above. So in verse 14, we see this covenant mentioned again, as it's mentioned in verse 10. So keep the covenant, right? The make known the covenant. The covenant is going to be made known. And in verse 14, it talks about my eyes. You're focused. Your eyes are focused toward righteousness, for righteousness will pluck your feet out of the net. Okay. Your eyes are ever toward that righteousness. So it's about focus. Focus, focus, focus. Verse 16 and 17 and 18 now, it leads up into this gracious. That grace is going to turn to you and give you that strength. And you're going to find that in your loneliness and affliction. Okay, so whoever is going through feeling alone, feeling afflicted, some people are in relationships with someone and they still feel alone. That's because of the fact that that person has not put righteousness first. They've put the relationship that they're in first. But you have to put the foundation of that relationship first, and that is the righteousness and goodness and mercy and all of the attributes I talk about on this channel all the time. You have to put that first. Then everything else is going to come into place. So in verse 16, 17, and 18, we're seeing that this graciousness is going to be given to those that are lonely and afflicted. That's why long suffering is something that's part of the attribute of righteousness, because it's about that right there. Lonely and afflicted. When you are lonely and afflicted, you are going through a long suffering period, right? It's a waiting period. So in verse 17, it talks about the troubles of the heart are enlarged. Bring I and I out of I and I distresses. I'm asking this on behalf of Siddhartha Dodla. Bring this person out of distresses and troubles of their heart. And think about the affliction and the trouble and forgive all their sins. In the name of all that is righteousness and goodness, your sins are forgiven. I cannot forgive your sins. Your sins are forgiven because you acknowledge the sin and you are standing up for and accountable for anything that you've done, and you are giving thanks for that in that space. So you have to do this because verse 19, 20, and 21 is telling you to think about how many enemies you have out there. How many enemies of righteousness, how many enemies of kindness, how many enemies of humility and humbleness, how many enemies we have out there that is enemies against compassion, enemies against grace. We saw it when that man ran his F-150 truck into a crowded street. That was the opposite of everything that is good and kind, right? So we have to think about this. How many are our enemies we have out there? And with the violent hatred that they hate folks. Not just me. I got people who hate me. Yeah. They don't like me because I speak what I speak. And they don't like me because I tell the truth. And I tell the truth and I shame the devil. That's who is going to be ashamed. The devil. The righteous are ever joyful. Okay? So in verse 20, keep I and I life and deliver I and I life. Let I and I not be put to shame, for I take safety in the Most High. Verse 21 now, may integrity and uprightness keep I and I, for I and I wait for righteousness. That's what I'm waiting for. So your integrity and your uprightness are going to preserve you because you are waiting for that you are about. You're not waiting for a wife. You're not waiting for a husband. You're not waiting for a job to call you. You're not waiting for anything. You're waiting on that righteousness that's within you. And when I talk about you're not waiting on anything, you're not waiting on anything. You are that you are waiting. You are that. You are the good soil. When you put into your good soil, you're going to reap the majestic amount of abundance within that. So that's important. And that is our psalm today. Oh my goodness. Thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A. I want to, let's see, what is our verse today came into my phone here. Let's get the verse of the day. It's coming from Isaiah. Ooh, Isaiah's that's my guy. Isaiah is my guy, okay? Isaiah speaks, learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed. That's it. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 16 to 17. Wash and make yourselves clean. Take your evil deeds out of my sight. Stop doing wrong. Learn to do right and seek justice. Defend the oppressed. Take up the cause of the fatherless. Plead the case of the widow. Okay? So the fatherless and the widow, you're taking up the case and the cause of them. Okay? The cause and the case. You're defending the oppressed. So you're learning to do what's right. And this is what the psalm today is talking about. Psalm 25, teaching the ways of righteousness. And teaching and learning go hand in hand. So I love that the verse today is about learning. The psalm is about teaching. And what is our word today? Let's see. What is our word today? Our word today is strength. And we need that. When you are learning and teaching, you are gaining strength in whatever topic it is you're teaching and learning. Teachers are learning too, just the same way that they are teaching someone else, they are learning too. So the word today, strength, for January 5th, 2025. We got the 1525, okay? Righteousness' strength is my strength. So I just mentioned that you are waiting for what's inside of you already. You're not waiting for something on the outside. You're waiting for that fruit to ripen inside of you. That's righteousness to burst out into an explosion, right? So the word strength, it's brought to us today by Habakkuk 3:19. Habakkuk 3:19. And this, the word today is from dailyword.com. And dailyword.com's word today is strength. And strength is what I find in righteousness. Righteous strength. Okay. So here we go. I gotta put this. Okay. So when I identify solely with my human nature, I may feel daunted by my cares and duties and by the state of the world itself. When I feel small or ill-equipped to face troubling situations or uncertain circumstances, I remind myself I am never without the power of divine strength within. What I just say, it's within. The awesome strength of righteousness is inexhaustible and without limitation. Anything I may be called to face is no match for divine strength. As I grow in righteous knowledge to stand firm in righteousness, I realize I need not ask for the strength of righteousness. Instead, I claim the strength of righteousness as an aspect of I and I divine identity. So how do you identify? The world wants you to identify your sexuality, your race, your culture, your place of origin, your allegiance. So all of these identifications that we have in the world, we need to learn that we have to identify with our divineness, our divinity, identifying with our divinity, claiming the strength of righteousness as an aspect of divinity. You will affirm divine strength is mine. I am strong in my own righteousness, in I and I own goodness. I am strong, right? My righteousness is strong. Okay, why do you think the world uses weak words? Because they want you to be weak. But righteousness is strength. There is strength in that, and it comes from within. So as these words grow in the awareness, in your consciousness, your awareness, feel better able to keep life's struggles in perspective, okay? Life struggles, circumstances, things that are happening, you may not be a part of that, but it's affecting you. Guess what? You're growing. Growth is uncomfortable, okay? Growth is not going to be smooth like sailing. Growth is going to be uncomfortable. So I affirm divine strength is mine. I receive it. I receive the divine strength. I receive it. As these words grow in awareness, I feel better able to keep life's struggles in perspective. And remember, I am strong in righteousness. You are in the divinity. You are a divine being. You may think you not. You may think whatever, but you are a divine being. And in that knowledge and awareness of yourself as a divine being, guess what? You have an advocate. You're not alone. You are not alone. So we're going to wrap up the word today with Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 19. God the Lord is my strength. And how do you define God? How do you define Lord? Is your business. I define it as righteousness, mercy, goodness, love, kindness, all of the attributes that embody all that is good, all that is pure and sacred. Okay? So, thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A Day. It's been a wonderful time hanging out with everybody on this Chant A Psalm. Have a beautiful day, and remember, stand in love, don't fall in it. Have a blessed day, everyone. Stand in love, don't fall in it. Love you. Beautiful. You are beautiful. You are divine. You are righteousness. You are the good soil. Remember that always. Take good care.